Hello, we are looking at our 2.3, which is making a list. So our goals for this one is to talk about lists, how we store and access them inside of our code. Um, so that is going to be our goal. So here's what we're trying to do. We are going to submit a text response to the event handler in steps one. We've got a screenshot of a quiz score, and then everything else is going to be text. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into it. So iterate, we've talked about quite a bit. It's just repeating processes. And we talk about iteration in our design and that we want you to keep trying to design things over and over and over again until it works the way you want. So not trying to get things right at the first time, but trying to get things as we go. A list in computer science is an ordered collection of data. Um, and the index is that position of each individual data spot. Okay. We're going to talk about two lists today. We're going to talk about static lists, which are lists that are pre-programmed in the program. So the user isn't putting that list in. It's something the programmers put in. A dynamic list will change as the program runs. So let's go ahead and jump into our PLTW directions. So it's we're going to start off by downloading the Charades version 1, connect it, and we're going to explore it and see what each one of these event handlers do. So am I in version 1? I am. So let's start here. When the reset game button is clicked, so let's find that one right here. So it sets our global score to 0. So we are using a global score variable there, and it's going to be 0. And I can see this other weird variable right here too, which we see all these things in it. So we'll have to think about what that is in a second. And then we're going to update our text on the screen. One of them is going to say number of correct guesses, which is going to be 0 because we just set it to there. And then our word phrase label is going to be blank. So that's what our event handler should do, is it should reset our variables and it should reset our text. Okay. The skip button, let's go see what the skip button does. Skip button is going to subtract 1 from the global score. So basically, like with charades, if you skip a question, you lose a point, and so that's how this one works. It updates our label showing that we lost a point, so that way they can see it. It's going to do this call pick next word. Let's go take a look at pick next word. Pick next word is going to set the word phrase label, so our text on screen, to a random item from this variable. So this is a list, and this is what it looks like right here. And then basically, we have all these different options for charades. So you might have to act out digging a hole or jumping rope. And it's going to pick a random item from that list. So this one is a static list because it's been programmed into the program. Okay. Right? Correct button. So when you press the correct button, it's going to update your score +1. And you're going to, just like you did in the skip button. Okay. So what I get from this is that somebody else is working the screen, and they're the ones who are picking whether or not you skip it or you get the correct one. Obviously, you'd have to tell them to skip it. Get word phrase button. Let's see what that is. Yep, that's our next one. Get word phrase button just picks our next word. Okay. So that's what starts it up. So here, let's take a look at the screen so you can see what it looks like. Okay. Okay, so and again, I'm sorry about my poor video quality. I'm actually going to make my screen a lot bigger so you can possibly see this a little bit easier. Okay, try and tilt this so that way you can actually see it. But you can see our 4 buttons up here at the top. Whenever I click here for phrase or word, which is this one right here, it's going to generate something on the screen, opening a window. And that is going to be how we play that one. So, okay, let's go take a look at what we're supposed to do for this one. Oh, just fill in the event handlers with what they're done. So that one's done. Step 5, take a screenshot of your quiz score from step 5. So let's go down here to step 5, and we're going to take a quiz here. So what type of list, let me see if I can make this bigger so you can see it. What type of list was used in the Charades app, static or dynamic? 3, 2, 1. That's time for you to think about your answers so you can answer it. They're all programmed in for you, so this is a static one. And a list index is the position of the item in the list. So that basically, if you call index 1, it's going to call your first item. The FaceTops list includes 3 images that a program added. Which kind of list is this an example of? 3, 2, 1. This is static again because the programmer is the one who put them in there. Look at the chores list, which chore is in index 5. So we're going to count that by going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take out the trash. And then 3, 2, 1. Oh, sorry. Which index position is cleanup? 3, 2, 1. It is in index 3. All right, let's submit, see how we did. All those were correct. Okay, moving on to steps 6 through 10. So steps 6 through 10 has us downloading version 2, deploying it, and then trying it out. So obviously we won't be able to do that since you're not in here with me today. So let's go to version 2 and let's take a look at it. Okay, so in this one, it gives me an option to add a word or phrase. So let's show you what that looks like on the screen. So up here at the top, right there, I can add a word or phrase to my screen. So that way it's, let's try this. So visit Rome. Okay, so I typed in visit Rome. I'm going to set that right there. And then it asks me for a new word or phrase. Okay. All right. And then when I click visit here, when I click for my list this time, it generates that question for me. So let's go take a look at the code here. Actually, let's see what I asked you to do on this one. What is different in version 2 versus 1? Is it dynamic or static? So let's take a look. So we can see this initialized word phrase list is grayed out. It has been disabled. That's that option right there. And let's see how they get player generated list, create an empty list. When add text button, it's going to add the item to the global player. So it basically, you have this empty list and it's just going to, whenever you press add text, it takes whatever it gets the list, and then it's going to save that to the text. Let's see if there's anything else. That's the only thing that's different in this. So that's how that picks a random item from that list. It just starts storing everything that you click in there. Okay, so all right. Oh gosh. All right, so I'm showing my screen again. Let's try this again. All right, so we can see that everything here is the same. This has been disabled, so that way it's not a static list anymore. Instead, we have this player generated list that we're going to do, and they set that to empty list. And then when they press the add text button, it gets whatever calls your list. So this is the list it's going to save to, and then whatever you typed in there, it's going to put that item into the next index. Okay, so that would be what we would put in here for that one. This one's a dynamic list because we're typing it in as we go. All right, last one, it's asked us steps 11 through 14, which is project 3. So my project 3. Okay, and let's go take a look. We can see that the show list button has been added to it. So let's take a look. The list is still disabled. Okay, we still have our add text, our empty create list, and then it looks like they added a way for us to clear our list. So if we hit the clear list button, it's going to create an empty list for whatever the list was. So it clears all the names out of there. And then we have a hide list show list button, which allows us to display all the items in our list. Okay, let's take a look, see how that one looks. So I'm going to type in 2 things. Let's do, here, let's show my camera so you can see me doing this. We're going to type in hi, add word or phrase, and we'll say bye, add word or phrase. So this is what the screen looks like. Okay, now when I click here for word or phrase, right there it says hi. Okay, and then I have this show list, so I can see all the things that are in there. It shows hi and bye up there in white text, and then gives me an option to clear the list, which makes it blank. Okay. All righty. So this one's a dynamic list because it's the same thing as version 2. They just added some reset buttons to it. Okay, so finally finishing off, whenever you download the sheet, I would like you to do the code trace here for these. What does each one of these do, and how does it work? So, all right, and we'll call that good.